Hello everyone. I'd spent the many weeks previous skiving off of work, gallivanting, one might say, around southern Europe. And while it was obviously fantastic, there's only so much bustling city life my brain can handle before it inevitably blue screens like my old Toshiba laptop after trying to open Skype on a mildly warm afternoon. Upon my return to England, I knew what needed to be done. This week, I found myself utterly captivated by the undeniable charm of the Lake District as I marvelled at its dramatic rocky peaks and valleys. Watch as I tackle three of arguably the most notorious scrambles in the lakes: Jack's Rake, Striding Edge and Sharp Edge, as well as camping in the fells and swimming in the lakes, while living out of my beloved yet slightly ill-equipped Ford Fiesta. Here you join me in a car park in Glenridding, right next to Ullswater Lake, as I start my ascent up towards Helvellyn. Starting in dense green woodland before opening up into fields of ferns, I didn't have to make much of an ascent before the views opened up towards the horizon.
Reminds me of like Minecraft for some reason.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I'm actually buzzing. Here I got my first view of the summit and the ridge that I'd be traversing to get there. Up there and across the top of this ridge, and I believe that is the summit of Helvellyn right there. As I approached the ridge walk, the wind started to pick up in my ears and the path became less substantial. I started to wonder what I was in for. There's a strange peace that I find being at mercy to the elements. Walking along a ridge like this, with steep precipices on both sides, forces you to be fully awake and present. We got a couple more nutters coming through now. Just coming to the end of the ridge walk here, I found myself faced with a steep gully that I had to scramble down.
So I just made my way down to there.
This here was the final steep face of rock that I had to climb before reaching the summit. Even though every time I turned around to look down, my stomach lurched, I couldn't help but look. I knew that I would miss that feeling once I was off the mountain. And before I knew it, I was emerging over the crest to the summit of Helvellyn.
Is this the summit?
I wish I could think of something like profound or meaningful to say, but it's just no need, is there really? I don't have any signal at the campsite, and I was a little bit annoyed about it at first, and then I thought, does it matter? Really? I mean, I've got a book, I can cook some food, I've got the sound of the rain, you know. So as you can see, I opted for a campsite this evening. After summiting Helvellyn, I was pretty tired, and I didn't really fancy hiking to a remote location to pitch up. While I cooked this meal at the end of the day, I reflected on my summit of Helvellyn. I knew that I had caught the bug for these scrambles, and I was excited to do Jack's rake the following morning. This morning was a lot greener, brighter, more sunny, probably more suitable than the weather I was hiking in yesterday. But I did make a slight error in the morning just after I got out of my car.
Alright, good morning. I just dropped my phone in the car park and now there's like a massive pebble-sized black patch and about a third of my screen doesn't work. What a fucking day.
I wasn't that bothered. As long as I could still use the All Trails app to navigate the trail, that was the most important thing.
I've just come over the crest and I can now see Jack's rake.
The camera never does these things justice, but I've done my best here with my poor editing skills to show you the general route.
It looks fucking dead scary, I won't lie. I can see one guy making his way up there. I'm gonna have a coffee and then, yeah, have a go at that, I suppose. If I die, just know I was having a sick time. As you can see, we got another guy in front of me who's going up there with a can of Monster and a knee brace, which puts my mind at ease a little bit. Or maybe he's just as stupid as I am, who knows.
He was. This guy's name was Joel. He was a Geordie fella. Not only did he have knee problems, he also had a hip impingement, scoliosis, and a Belvita for breakfast. Safe to say this guy was a legend.
I'll probably need both my hands for most of it, but I'll get a couple of videos on the way up, as long as I'm not risking my life to do so.
So it's a matter of getting a tag on each line, each division. You go, it's called going all city. People see your tags in Queens, uptown, downtown, all over.
Wasn't hooked before after striding Edge, I definitely was now. I also met Joel again at the top and we summited the neighbouring peak of Harrison Stickle and then we hiked down together, wondering why we couldn't see anyone else climbing up Pavey Arc via Jack's Rake.
So I'm on my way to Buttermere now. I just pulled my car over on the side of the road to have a couple of flasks of coffee. I couldn't remember if I had any left, but luckily I've got loads. I think there's a lake at Buttermere, to be honest, I don't really know very much about it. Joel, the man with the knee brace and the Monster Energy, his exact words were, "You have to go to Buttermere." That's what I'm doing.
The Lake District has to be the most scenic place to drive in the whole of England. An hour can feel like 10 minutes. Every time you turn a corner, you're just met with a new expanse of scenery.
This is the spot.
It just does not get more peaceful than this, mate. There's just nothing. It's just silent. The only slightly annoying thing is, I didn't bring the coffee. The coffee's still in my car, and I am a bit gutted about that. because I brought everything to make the coffee, but not the actual coffee. But that's all right. We'll just make one when I get back to my car, mate. I always find the English coast has a particular kind of nostalgic charm to it.
David Foster Wallace has a quote, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was specifically talking about postmodern literature, but I think I can apply it here to modern culture in the way that we're focused on convenience and accessibility and short-term gratification. But he said that meaningful rebellion is likely very quiet and personal, and I think that's the case if you're trading in real life for the sake of comfort or short-term pleasure. It has to be a personal decision from you just to say I don't want that, like confront real life and choose to feel things and stop numbing myself to existence.
Now, initially, my plan was to drive home this morning.
Jamie!
Can you hear that?
Come climb us, mate. Don't be a fucking wet one.
That's Blencathra. I had absolutely no idea what to expect from Sharp Edge.
Okay, first part done. Came from down there, it's taken 25 minutes.
I didn't know anything about it other than the name and the All Trails map that I downloaded on my phone. But one thing was for sure, it was really hot today. But I absolutely love these quieter trails, where you're not getting in anyone's way if you want to walk a bit faster, and it's not super crowded queuing to get to the summit. And as I approached the beginning of this ridge walk, I had no idea this would turn out to be my favourite route up any mountain that I'd ever done.
So as you can see behind me, it gets a little bit more technical.
It's always amusing to me, the contrast between the rocky and unforgiving climb and the peace that you get when you reach the summit. I hope I can inspire at least a few people to get out in the fells in the Lake District. All I can ask is that you take nothing but pictures and leave nothing but footprints. And to finish this video off, I'll leave you with a quote from the man himself, Mr. Wainwright. The fleeting hour of life of those who love the hills is quickly spent, but the hills are eternal. Always there will be the lonely ridge, the dancing beck, the silent forest. Always there will be the exhilaration of the summits. These are for the seeking, and those who seek and find while there is time will be blessed both in mind and body.